Welcome back to Newslink. Now, the provision of potable water continues to be quite a major challenge for officials, this across the country. But this morning, our cameras zoom in on the myriad challenges in the country. My colleague Sindy Mabe is in the Northwest for the duration of the show, and she's speaking to experts on the state of the country's water infrastructure. She joins me now to actually paint that picture and how it's looking in the Northwest. Good morning to you, Sindy. I mean, it's been an informative morning, I have to say, just understanding and exploring where our water infrastructure maintenance lie in the country.
Dumela, good morning, and good morning to your viewers, and thank you again. I mean, I think today had given us a different perspective of what goes on behind the scenes when we talk about critical infrastructure, particularly that gives life, such as water, and understanding the historical context there of the legacy of the projects and the infrastructure that is now aging, what has been done in the process to try and keep it alive, to rejuvenate the infrastructure, to provide bulk infrastructure, bulk water, not only to the industries, in this case, the Platinum Belt, but also the communities surrounding these mines. As you will recall, from 1969, where we are here, the Magalies board at the time had only serviced the platinum mines in the community. But since 1994, that demand had then expanded, meaning that they needed to find the resources and the capital and the means to provide to the greater communities. Where we are at the moment, this is the original source. It's called the Falkop Dam, which provides water. It's a raw source, provides water to the northwest and the parts of the Limpopo as well. It's then taken to the pumping station to my left, and earlier on, as you rightfully mentioned, we spoke to experts in the industry, engineers and processors who are at the top of their game, telling us how the water then makes it to our taps in the kitchen. I must also add, Dumelo, that earlier on we had Professor Miller on the South African Morning, who also highlighted that this had historically been a white Afrikaner male domain, if you will, of engineering, especially when it comes to our bulk infrastructure. What I saw was also how the emerging black young professionals have come through the ranks, and those who are now literally running these particular facilities. So again, a different perspective. I think when the system works and when all the parts come together, this is where we see the pockets of excellence in the country. Dumelo?
With that being said, Sindy, one would wonder, is there enough resources to ensure that there is, clean water? Is there government will to make sure that the water is also safe to consume? We cannot have this discussion without making reference to the Hammanskraal cholera outbreak this, year that we've seen a number of people's lives perishing due to cholera. And I just wonder if there is any will from government in terms of making sure that the water is, number one, accessible to all people, but also, number two, it's safe and clean to consume.
And I think this is the frustration that you and I share, and it's something that resonates throughout the country, is the fact that there are so many layers and tiers and reporting structures in government, where you find, like the Magalies water purification plant and 8 other water boards around the country, they do their bit in providing the bulk water. From there, it is then distributed or dispersed to the relevant municipalities, and the municipalities would utilize service providers to then make sure that the water is clean and safe. But throughout that value chain, there's also human error and potential danger, as we've seen now with the cholera outbreak in Hammanskraal, as you've referred to. So I think it's just trying to tighten the screws where there are issues from a municipal point of view of where the water then becomes unsafe to use. From where we stand at the Magalies water treatment plant, it seems that its systems go. Earlier on we spoke to a lady, Marcia Mafumadi, who was saying that the quality control is so impeccable that the water will simply not be released until they are 100% sure that it is safe for consumption. So I think what we need to possibly zoom into is at municipal level and see where the lack is there, whether it's a skill shortage, is it a human capital issue, is it infrastructure, is it a political will? I think that's where we can say the blame can lie squarely from what we've heard from the water board here at Magalies.
In terms of sequence of how the water gets here is that we've got the Hartbeespoort Port Dam. The Hartbeespoort Port Dam, its main supply is the Crocodile River, the Yaske River, the Henops River from Tshwane, and then it then goes down to the Rudikopis Dam, which the water flows to the Crocodile River. And then essentially we have a canal from the Crocodile River that comes to Falkop. Our Falkop, which is our main dam obstruction point, gets water from the Hex River as well as Elands River that is within the northwest. So with that water, we then treat it for human consumption. But in terms of the what you've alluded to, Magalies water, essentially we are recycling water that is being utilized from upstream, which is the Gauteng region.